What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Ferrum Forge Prolix. This is a 2.85-inch Nitro V blade that weighs 2.8 ounces, as I weighed it, in a Warncliffe style. And this cost me $110 on the Ferrum Forge site because this is the carbon fiber, but you can get the G10 versions on any of your popular sites like Blade HQ for $90. And in retrospect, I probably would recommend those out of the gate versus the carbon fiber because this is not exactly like a gorgeous looking piece. It looks nice, and the carbon fiber gives it a little bit special look. But you know, for me, the $20 on this particular one, I would probably choose to go to the G10 one, and we'll talk about that why in just a little bit. As for comparison knives, I would probably say the SOG Terminus XR in terms of size and maybe functionality, as well as the Kershaw Leak for the Warncliffe style. Those are similar size blades, and this one also is in the carbon fiber. So those would be similar, also similar in price, in fact, to this particular one. Most people haven't really had a lot of Nitro V experience, and their first opportunity probably that a lot of us saw was the Mass Drop Perpetua, TJ Schwartz designed one. Nitro V is actually a fairly it's a fairly good and well-balanced blade steel. It's easy to sharpen, maintains a decent edge, good corrosion resistance, and for those of us that hadn't had a chance, these particular Ferrum Forge knives, this one as well as the one that I really do want to kind of compare it throughout is their own Stinger, the Ferrum Forge Stinger. So that's going to come back. That's going to come up time and again in this particular comparison here for this particular system, for this particular review. The pros on this particular one is if you do have restrictions in your area, for sub 3 inches, this is great because this one is 2.85 inches, whereas the Stinger is it's somewhere just over 3. So again, if you do happen to have a restriction, that would be an area where this is a pro. The fit and finish is excellent, as I would have expected, being produced by Weiss/Savivi for Ferrum Forge. But everything was centered on this particular one. The only thing I would say is, and this kind of comes into the cons, is this one did move its way off of center just through a lot of flipping because they hadn't Loctited the pivot screw. I did have to go ahead and do that. The finger choil, the front finger choil here with the Warncliffe style is great when you're cutting away from things. It does fit fairly nice and fairly safely. You're not going to run into that too much. I do have medium-large hands, and for this particular knife, it does kind of force you into that front choil. Otherwise, you're going to really only get about three fingers on this particular blade. So you can use it otherwise, but it really is, kind of designed to be used for that. So I think that is a positive, the fact that they did make it a full choil size for your finger. The Nitro V steel, again, we talked about that already, is tough, holds a decent edge, and is easy to sharpen, and fairly corrosion resistant. This particular knife is quite fidget friendly. You can do the middle finger flick on this one, really without much problem. Got to practice a little bit maybe, but on the whole, that nice cutout there on the top of the blade makes for nice capability for flicking that thing out. On the con side, I would say the jimping on the top of the spine here is a little bit overly aggressive. It's this is a knife that's you're not going to be pressing really hard and doing a lot of hard work on it, but this particular one did kind of dig into my thumb quite a bit, so I think it was a little bit overly aggressive. The one thing I would say is if you're going to give me a 3-finger knife, it's designed to go here. But if you're going to give me a knife that can only go 3 fingers, I actually would kind of prefer to have a lanyard loop or lanyard hold back here. Maybe on the back spacer would be an area that you could do that. So there is a way that could be done with that. I did not have a problem with the Stinger because, of course, I can fit four full fingers on that particular one. So that would be one of the cons, I would say. And then I would say that, just not having Loctited the pivot screw and having to, I had to literally after about 5 flicks, it went right off center and I had to handle that. with some blue Loctite. Not a big deal, but I would say. And then the last thing I would say is that, they said it's a stone wash, and I would not say it's a stone wash. I would say this is more of a bead blast. Not a real big con on that particular one, but I do actually prefer a bead blast. Again, that was also one of the kind of defining features of this one is it is a bead blast, which does show a little bit more wear when you beat up on that versus an actual stone wash. Maybe they did stone wash it, but to me it looks like a lot of the Weiss of EV bead blasting that I've seen. On the whole, I would like to say this is a very recommendable knife. I think it's maybe a little high priced. When I compare this, at $90 for the regular edition to the Stinger, for me, I'm going to be shooting for the Stinger every time. I know that these are a little bit short on supply at present, but they'll be coming back as a regular production. The overall blade, everything about it, the geometry of this one essentially being a full flat. This one goes into the saber grind here. For me, this is a good knife, and especially if you need to stay under 3 inches, it'd be a great knife. But I'm always going to choose the Stinger over this particular one myself. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Take care now. Bye.